Jeez, sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about me.
Well, I'm not too worried about you.
I know.
I was going to try to catch it, and then I realized I was going to hit my coffee cup, and I thought it might break my coffee cup, so.
Your coffee cup is more important than my shit.
That is valid. 100% true. Let's just see what happens here with the peoples.
What did you label it? You didn't give it a name?
I did. I just said morning coffee, and then I said, let's talk braces. I think, didn't I?
I don't know. It doesn't make it very easy to see what the description is.
I still can't get notifications. I've tried to figure it out, and I can't seem to.
Frozen.
I cannot seem to figure it out. Oh man, we got so much ammo. I don't have room. It's a good problem to have, but I don't like it.
First world problems. American problems.
Good morning. Good morning, David. Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Cameron. Good morning. Also, hi. Any Glock performance triggers? I don't believe so. I mean, we have Timony Glock triggers, if that's what you're talking about. Well, we should, anyway. Will you look to see if we have Glock Timony Glock triggers? Timony Glock triggers. Please and thank you. Oh, Glock? No, we do not. We don't have any of the, I guess Glock released a trigger. We don't have any Glock triggers.
Oh,
or,
no.
no.
I don't think so.
All right. If they just released them, they
That was with the Glock 47.
yeah.
Good performance trigger.
No, we do not. I don't even know if they're available to be purchased individually yet. I have no idea. I haven't seen them. I haven't heard much about them. I would be interested. I'm assuming since you, or I'm guessing you want one, that you've heard they're supposed to be pretty good. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them. But Chris and Mr. Vincent are at SHOT Show. They're actually going to Media Day today, or Range Day today. So, look, Glock.
Do you remember on the
I don't know if Glock's ever out there. If they are, we've never stopped by and shot because it's just Glock and it's nothing new. What?
You don't remember seeing it on that little...
No, I do remember seeing Glock Performance Trigger, but I didn't... Glock Performance Barrel, too. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's...
Right. Because it's probably still the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Heard mixed reviews on the Glock triggers. Yeah, I'm sure, just like anything. I mean, you could get some super badass trigger and... Are you trying to get in here?
I'll
There
have
you go.
to stand back
Yeah,
here.
you should be in the front because you're short. So when you go in the back, you get shorter, perspective-wise. Tammy, good morning.
See, this is what happens.
Yeah. So, just gonna do the whole thing here. So, pistol braces. Inventory stuff. We have guns. We have ammo. We have rifles, pistols, and we have some stuff on the wall that I don't even really know what it is anymore. But we're not gonna waste time going through that this morning. I just want to talk a little bit about raise your hand if you know anything about the pistol brace ruling, I guess. Come this way. Okay, hold on. We got to figure this out. Wait.
No, I don't like being up front.
There you go. No, wait. I need my coffee though. So let's just go take a look at one real quick. Ooh, I just about spilled my coffee. So if you're unfamiliar with what we're talking about, I'm sure most of you guys are, but maybe not. Some of y'all are newer, and maybe not. Hi, Mike Odell. Maybe you've got some good info. I'm sure you don't, because it's just as confusing for freaking everybody else. But this is what we're talking about. This is an AR pistol. It happens to be a CMMG, and this has a pistol brace on it that's designed to be braced over your arm to allow you to shoot with one hand. The ATF has said multiple times that it's totally okay if you have this thing and you want to shoulder it. That's fine. Then they said it wasn't fine. Then they said, yeah, we were actually wrong. It is fine. So, wait, Mike, why are you here? Aren't you are you in Vegas? You not in Vegas? I'm very confused. I figured you'd be at range day. You should be at range day already. Maybe. Anyway, doesn't matter. Sorry, slight bit of a squirrel moment. But that's what a pistol brace is. Oh, good. I bet you're happy to not be there. I am happy and yeah.
Huh. Oh.
Oh.
Hey, Mike. I was like, wait a second.
It's those light bulb moments. They don't happen very often for her. It's usually just a blank stare and Anyway, you stopped shot. Good. I don't know. Good. Yeah. Anyway, pistol braces. We don't know what the hell is going on with these things right now. So there was a new determination of, or a new, not determination, that's not the right word. A new definition is one thing they've definitely changed of what a rifle is versus what a pistol is. Basically, the ATF changed the ruling, changed their interpretation of a law to say that these things are illegal. Starting 120 days from the time that this new ruling is published, which they expect to be published this week, today, tomorrow, something. So, first things first, just relax, just calm down. It's okay.
Woosah.
Mr. Miller, good morning.
Hi, Andy.
So if you, well, I was going to say if you don't understand how this works, I don't really even understand how this works, but here's a very broad picture. So the ATF is what is called a regulatory agency. Regulatory agencies are granted permissions to interpret existing laws or to make minor changes so that will you shut your phone up?
Sorry.
To make minor changes in an area that they have expertise in. So for the ATF, they're a regulatory agency, they can make minor changes to laws that regulate alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives. The EPA can make minor changes to anything that has to do with environmental protection. So their rules, not laws, but their rules have the weight of law. They can be enforced as laws. So essentially they can just pen out a law and say, okay, here's a new thing. As with anything, when they have a little bit of power, they start taking a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Next thing you know, they're just making these broad stroke assumptions and rewriting these regulations, these rules, to fit some political agenda to
They use it as a way to bypass Congress to get rules pushed through a little bit faster under the guise of it pertains to the NFA. So there's this regulation that they set forth, all this big law that did go through Congress, and then they are then tasked with making rules that can more easily bypass Congress as long as it has to do with that main thing, so the NFA. So then they're able to manipulate rules around the NFA and make regulations according. But what we're angry about is they keep changing their mind and they're reaching out past what they're supposed to be able to do.
They're stepping outside those bounds. That power hungry ness has just kind of gobbled up more and more and more of what they feel they have the right to regulate. And we've seen it recently with the EPA. There's been a recent ruling that the EPA overstepped and that they were making broad assumptions, and that had has the potential to have pretty profound effects on how rules like this will be looked at when there are lawsuits against it, which are coming. If they haven't been filed already, it'll be happening very shortly. So for the time being, pistol braces are going to essentially go away. All right. Like I said before, don't freak out. Liz brought up a good point a little while ago. We've been watching some videos of people who are definitely more educated about this stuff, who are attorneys and can read through these 200 and some odd pages of ridiculousness with a better understanding of what they're reading. We are certainly not those people. But she brought up a good point that a lot of them are saying, this is going to make millions of people felons overnight, which is not true. Okay, to be a felon, you have to be tried and convicted of a felony. That's not going to happen. Could it make somebody an unlawful possessor of an NFA item? Yes. Do they have the potential to be prosecuted? Yes. Do you have the potential to become a felon? Absolutely. And that's pretty scary, and it's asinine.
Especially for the people who have no concept of this industry and keeping an eye on the laws, and all the people that just bought lots of guns through the pandemic and just through all the chaos that is the world, and they come into a gun store and buy a gun for the first time, namely an AR-15 that they've heard so many things about, not realizing what they're getting into, and now all these people are walking around with pistols, have no clue what's on the books right now.
Yeah, and that's we were briefly talking about this. Jason, good morning. The fact that we'll use Liz as an example of somebody who's vertically challenged, okay, somewhat, brand new to this shooting world, maybe bought a handgun, a year and a half ago, and then 3 or 4 months ago, like, hey, I've been shooting with my friends. A couple of them got these AR things. I think I want one because they're freaking cool and they're fun. And I'm having a good time with it. Because they're a smaller person, something like an AR pistol would work well for them, lighter weight and so forth. And they bought it and they stick it in their safe and they shoot it a handful of times a year. And they don't follow our page. They don't follow we're going to give you some organizations and YouTube pages and stuff to go to. They don't follow those people. They don't pay attention to that stuff. They just know they have something that was totally legal. They bought without issue, and all of a sudden now that thing becomes illegal, and they could get in trouble for it, not realizing the fact that this thing that they bought, they came out and bought this thing, and then 6 months from now this thing is illegal. That's scary. And as Mike says, there will be people that we made examples of here just to say we're not screwing around with it. That's a real thing, and that's going to happen. I like we said at the beginning, first and foremost, chill out, relax. You do have 120 days from the time the rule is filed, which should be sometime this week, to submit a Form 1 if you want to. And what a Form 1 means is that you're building an SBR, right? Or you're building an NFA item. In this case, it would be an SBR. There's different rules that pertain to us that I don't know. I certainly don't know all the rules that pertain to individuals. There's different rules that pertain to us as an FFL that we have to dig through. So we're going to be spending, I'm sure, some time this week trying to figure out what all that means to us. But for you as an individual, just chill out, relax. Let's digest this for a little while. I have definitely seen some people that were kind of excited about the fact that they can register they can Form 1 their pistol to make it an SBR and save the $200 tax stamp. If you're unfamiliar with the NFA, anytime you purchase or build an NFA item, you have to pay a $200 tax for the right to own it. Doesn't matter if it's a $100 item or a $5,000 item, it's a $200 tax that you have to pay. So that's going to be waived. That $200 fee is going to be waived with this,
amnesty.
During this amnesty period. However, whenever you submit to the Crown, whenever you, oh, dang it. Dan, I reset it, sorry, and don't think it was like 150 and 269 or something like that. That was my fault. It was a different process for me this morning, so I screwed it up.
That's because I got here before you.
You did. She beat me here this morning.
I wasn't
late. I don't like that. When I came around the corner and saw her car in the parking lot, I was like, gosh, dang it. I don't like people beating me to work. Anyway.
But it happens all the time.
Anyway, you have to pay that $200 tax stamp. That's going to be waived. So some people are excited about that. Like, sweet, I've wanted an SBR for a while, so I've got these 3 AR pistols. I'm going to submit Form 1s on these 3, and it'll save me $600. That's true. You also then, though, are actually registering your firearms. There is no registry. In the state of Missouri, there is no firearm registry for a traditional firearm, for a handgun, rifle, pistol, or handgun, rifle, shotgun. When you have an NFA item, that becomes a federally registered item. There are also rules that pertain to NFA items that if I own one as an individual, my wife can't just take that rifle, that SBR, or that suppressor, or whatever the NFA item is, and go shooting with Liz for the weekend. I have to be present with that thing. Now, if I own it in a trust and my wife is on that trust, then my wife can take that item. But there are states that she can't go to simply because it's an NFA item. And Illinois, for example. Illinois does not like the NFA. So they just say, NFA, be gone. And you can't take your SBR, your suppressors there. So it's not as simple as you save $200 or you save $600 because you have 3. You federally register a firearm, and there are some very restrictive rules that you have to follow with how they're handled and who can use them and where you can go with them and so forth. And you can get yourself into a lot of trouble there. You all of a sudden get this SBR either all the way in or all the way out.
I was making notes. I'm sorry.
You can get yourself into a lot of trouble by not knowing the law as it relates to an NFA item. So don't be so quick. Simply just my opinion. Don't be so quick to just say, screw it, I'm going to submit my paperwork for my 3 SBRs today and save the $600.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
My opinion, don't do it. If you want to, you're your own free person. You can make your own choices. Have at it. Cooler heads will prevail when it comes to guns. Pro-gun people tend to not have knee-jerk reactions. Staying calm and methodical is one of our strengths. That's very true. Not for everybody, but it is true in a broad spectrum thing. Don't sweat it right now. We'll see where this goes. So for the time being, keep our brace pistols in the safe until the dust court cases settle, and if they remain as an SBR, then bite the bullet. So I can't say for certain one way or the other there. Let's just say that there's 5 different lawsuits brought today against this. It's not going to be defeated in the next 120 days. Phil's opinion, not Liz's, not the Range's, not anybody else's, just mine. This is going to be overturned, but it could be
years.
Yeah, 2-3 years from now. It could be 6 or 7 years from now. It's going to be a while.
Just like the bump stocks, those have been banned for a couple of years now.
5 years, 6 years, something like that.
And they're just now getting around to hearing it in the Supreme Court.
So don't say wait until the dust settles and then just SBR it, because you fall outside the amnesty period. There could be so by dissent it doesn't need a brace. A little plug there. If you don't know what the dissent is, let's go take a look real quick. But here's the weird thing, Mike, and we were talking about, now you could still use this, so our dissents have got braces on them. Okay. From my very brief understanding, if we took this off of here, then it'd be okay. It would just be a pistol. Okay. In a case like this, if we took this off and even put just a smooth buffer tube on it, that's still not going to be okay, because they're going to say that this still allows that blunt end of the buffer tube is going to allow for you to be able to shoulder it. So this would not have one. Therefore, again, this would be gone. and it does not require a buffer tube for the function. Pretty freaking cool things, by the way. But that would be okay to be used as a pistol. Again, that's just from a very, very brief understanding of.
As long as you don't put an optic on it that has eye relief.
Yeah.
Can't market it in a way that's going to be shouldered. How the shooting community uses it's going to matter. Oh, there's so.
Will we see these types lower in price? Probably not. I mean, you might see some blowouts from some people that are trying to clear inventory, but again, I don't know from an FFL's perspective. There's things that happen for us right now. As soon as the rule is published, there'll be things that happen to us immediately. I don't know what those things are, so I don't know that we could say, all right, we're blowing all these things out at the lowest price that we can just to get them out of here and let somebody else deal with them. I don't know that we'll be able to do that. We probably wouldn't do that anyway, but we'll see. Because there's going to be some, we can either, again, I'm just guessing, we can either put stocks on them and make them SBRs and sell them as an SBR, or if they have the ability, like the Descent, to be a pistol, so on. But I don't know how all that's going to work. Again, this week we'll be trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. Let's see, there are plenty of past examples of government, state and federal, using registered firearm databases for pursuing owners. Yes, this is going to be tied up in a legal system, just like bump stocks. Yeah. So the good thing is that there won't be a state registry. Well, shouldn't be a state registry for these items. It'll only be the federal registry for NFA. Some states that won't be the case, but. Elliot, I don't know what you love, but hey, I'm good with it. I've not seen a brace ban. It's not a brace ban, it's a forced registry.
I think he was talking about this, Elliot.
Okay.
I think that's what they want, because they're missing out on a lot of tax dollars from all these pistols that could have been made SBRs a long time ago, and they're realizing that people are bypassing the SBR route because they can just put a pistol brace on it, and then they're losing out on tax dollars. So there's that part of it too.
Yeah. I know all the shops in Illinois basically had to stop sales immediately after their law passed. That's very true. It'll be a very similar thing for us. I know for the FFL, once it's actually submitted, it goes into effect for us immediately. There's some grace period, but I don't know all the details of how that is going to work. But there's another comment I saw. Damn it, this thing. It would likely be the same once the ATF makes updates. I don't know where that comment fell in a line, but yeah, that's one of the problems is they can always update them. They're changing a definition or classification based on a perceived misuse. I've misused a screwdriver as a pry bar. Once or twice I've done that. Chisel and a punch. Doesn't change the fact that it's still just a screwdriver.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's awesome. Elliot, just come out and get one because they're freaking awesome. They're, I don't know, we have 4 or 5 of them in 5.56. They're really cool.
I wonder what they're going to do with the honey badger, because it was kind of what started this whole nonsense.
What do you mean what they're going to do with it?
I'm pretty sure I don't know if I know enough about it to talk. I don't know. The honey badger from Q is the one that sparked all the chaos around the pistol brace. So I think that they're a little bit more scrutinized. I don't know.
I think there's a list of. There might be a list of both.
Yeah, that's what started it all.
I think that there's a list of like absolutely no firearms. Like if you own this thing, it's an SBR. And I think there's a much smaller list of if you own this firearm, this is a good example of what's okay. I think. I'm not positive. We were talking this morning. We both watched a bunch of different videos over the weekend. And you'll watch one person, okay, that makes sense. And you watch somebody else and they contradict each other. And these are 2 people that are lawyers. And we talk about this a lot in class. That lawyers can read law because it's very, very ambiguous and open to interpretation. So you can read laws different ways or You can read the same law and interpret it different ways. So, Jim, good morning. Honey badger was specifically marketed as to shoulder it, from what I recall, so that brought more attention to it. So, long story short, we've been talking for almost 30 minutes. Don't freak out. Just pay attention. If you know people in your life, in your circle, that have these things that maybe aren't as into it as you are, just give them a heads up as to what's going on, so they don't get themselves in trouble unknowingly. Keep an eye on this as it's coming up. I thought you were going to hit the finish button. And pay more attention to the coming weeks and months. All right.
One very after you read that.
Open marketing is an alternative to stocks, omitting the principal purpose of braces. Yeah.
So
what do we do next?
So what do we do? So let's call our representatives, call Congress, call your state reps, senators, governors, anybody that you can, to basically say that the
make noise, make polite noise.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't be a jerk face and say, I won't fucking do this shit. You're a bunch of assholes. They're not going to listen to that.
And we need to support the organizations that are fighting for these, and going through the legal process of suing the ATF and trying to make this right. So there's a couple of organizations for sure, like the Gun Owners of America, the Second Amendment Foundation, the Firearms Policy Coalition. Look into those guys, donate, become members, and try to do what you can to help them out as much as possible. And then you can call call Congress. You can call to the federal switchboard. I'll type it out here in a second.
Why don't you guys type it out, because you're listening? Type it out as she says it.
Okay, here we go. Someone get
all
their
of you
fingers ready. All right. 202-224-3121. Just call that. It's a switchboard. Tell them where you're located. They'll transfer you to your local reps. Get in touch with them. Tell them what you think about the ATF.
Thanks, Mike.
Making these rules and bypassing Congress. This is not okay. So thank you guys. This is really important. This is a big step in the wrong direction for a big step. So we really got to work on this one.
Good channels to pay attention to on YouTube, because you're much more connected to that stuff than I am.
Guns and Gadgets he's like on top of it. He will post stuff really fast. He's got a real simple way of saying things. Coleon Noir is a good one. Washington Gun Law is another good one. Tom Grieve from the USCCA. He's got his own channel now, and he's been putting out some good content about the pistol braces and just law and self-defense in general. So definitely check those guys out, and they'll keep you updated. Arm Scholar, yep, he's a good one too.
And I think it's good to bounce around and watch, information from all of them. I know it can be a little overwhelming. It can be mind-numbing at times. There was one I was watching. I can't even think of who the hell it was, but he was essentially reading page by page and then saying, okay, this is what this says. This is what this means. It was like an hour and a half long. I haven't made it through it yet, but I need to. Right, and it's good to hear different perspectives from different people. Support these organizations, right? They I'm not going to tell you who to give what kind of money to, but if you have dollars that you can send to anybody, it's a good thing. Brian, I am not going to SHOT. All our guys. Vinny and Chris are out there right now. Actually, range day is today, so they're out there. Probably driving to range day right now. Jared from Guns and Gadgets is probably the most timely and in-depth. Okay, awesome. And Brian, I'm not unhappy that I'm not there. It's freaking chaotic. My wife gets annoyed when I watch these legal drivel videos, especially lately because they have
for sure.
Been a lot. For sure.
A lot of changes, good and bad.
Keep watching them. Keep yourself informed. Try to read through the stuff if you can. Tell
your friends who have ARs. Inform them, because they might not know.
Yeah.
And the more people know and and understand what's really happening and not just what the media is telling them, because they're going to put a whole bunch of hyperbolic emotional statements behind it, and that sucks because that's appealing to the people that don't have the right information. So us people that have good information that understands the logic around this can explain to people why braces, shouldered or not, are not a big deal. It's us people that follow the laws that are going to be hurt by this, not the criminals that will go out and so
why an SBR even matters.
Right.
I mean, why that even
matters. Why that matters.
So we were talking. I had a shotgun class this weekend and ended up with just one student, so it worked out well for them. They had basically a private lesson. We had a can on his shotgun, and it's amazing how nice when you get to shoot with, especially indoors with other people. If everybody on a lane had suppressors, oh my God, it's so pleasant.
We had
so much nicer.
The last Girls Just Want to Have Guns. It was a fairly small group, so all the guns on the range had cans on every single one. It was the quietest range day ever, and they were all loving it because it was so quiet and it wasn't getting that adrenaline going and everything, and they could just kind of relax and enjoy shooting the gun. And then when I go through and tell them all that this is a highly regulated item by our federal government, they're like, what?
Why?
That doesn't even make sense. It's not even movie quiet like what they all expect it to be, and it's so frustrating.
Yes. So it's a law or it's a rule that is to make some political people feel good that they're making changes. Yay! And it's really not going to do anything but cause problems for people like me.
You're one of those.
Of course
guys.
you would. Of course you would. Of course you would. All right. I really initially my plan today was to talk about doing new things that's scary, because I started to talk about it last week.
And then I interrupted you.
Yeah, like Wednesday, I guess, and you interrupted and it got distracted and we didn't talk about it. But I do want to talk about that maybe tomorrow. We got private security tomorrow though.
So we get on earlier.
Maybe tomorrow. I think it's a good thing to talk about because it came about because I'm new to this whole jiu-jitsu world, and Liz had mentioned that it makes me think like a lot of our students do when they come in here, that they're scared, they're nervous, they're doing this weird thing that's brand new to them, and it really brings me back, and it allows me to more accurately see and feel what our students see and feel, and it's a really cool thing. So I want to talk about that, about kind of getting outside your comfort zone. We'll spend some time this week at some point. I love seeing Vinny doing burpees.
It's pretty entertaining.
Yes. Mike, thanks for sharing information. Keep fighting a good fight. You too, brother. Thank you for tuning in this morning and throwing some of your perspective in there.
Definitely. For sure.
Well, there'll be lots more to come on this. Obviously, we'll spread some info as we get it. But we're going to be watching a lot of the same channels that we recommended. So watch those guys. I'm happy to have more conversations about it here as more information becomes available, or more information is digested anyway. We can have maybe a little bit more intelligent, tough to do here, but a little bit more intelligent conversation about what's happening. Anything else from you?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Anyway, 10 to 8 Monday through Friday. If you guys need something, come see us. If you want to talk pistol brace band stuff, come in. Let's talk about it. We don't really have much other information. We can just give you what we got, which is not much right now. You want to come buy stuff? We got lots of stuff. You want to come shoot your gun? Come shoot your gun. It's going to be a crappy, rainy, gross day outside. So come inside and shoot your gun and have some fun. You guys stay safe. Be nice to one another. We'll catch you soon. Later.
Toodles.
Awkward pause.